Hello everyone. Welcome to Hollywood Recaps. Today we will be watching a summarized version of a sci-fi action film from 2014 called Automata. Beware of the spoilers ahead. So, sit back, relax and let's begin. The scene opens with on-screen text explaining the future 30 years from now. It is now 2044. The climate change and a series of solar storms have turned into a desert on the planet's surface and annihilated the 99.7% of Earth's population, leaving 21 million people across the world in a single city covered by mechanical clouds to make rain. Trying to rebuild the world again, a robot company named Rock Corporation created Automata Pilgrim 7000 with two security protocols. First, a robot cannot harm human beings, and second, a robot cannot alter himself or another robot. We are informed that these rules are unalterable. We are taken to a dark and gloomy cityscape with dancing holographic robots projecting up. Driving along the road wearing a plastic bodysuit, police officer Sean Wallace investigates a report. As he makes his way underground to a platform where a few homeless people live, he finds a robot who seems to be violating the second protocol, the one about self-repair. Wallace destroys the robot by shooting it in the head. Days pass, and we arrive at a family home in shock and anger after their robot accidentally kills their dog instead of brushing it. The family's father shouts at Jack Vaughan, an insurance investigator for Rock. However, Vaughan shows the family that it could not have been the robot since it works as it should, to protect. Vaughan heads home to greet his pregnant wife. The next day Vaughan is informed of the incident where Wallace shot the robot. Wallace claimed it was fixing itself and looked alive. The company is worried about the possible implications if the people know the case. However, during the analysis of the destroyed robot, they found that someone had made this robot very differently than ever before. The company believed that the robot was made to smuggle parts. Insurance agent Jack Vaughan was chosen to investigate the happened. Vaughan tries to convince his boss, friend, and brother-in-law Robert Bold to transfer him and his pregnant wife Rachel to the coast. Bold accepts the request only if Vaughan can solve the case. Vaughan begins his investigation by heading to a construction site. It is here where the same-looking robots are seen working. He tells the employee that one of his colleagues may have been trying to change the robot's inner software. The employee means Vaughan that his construction robots are breaking down daily. As Vaughan heads over to the side wall, he looks out over a deserted land, packed with old containers and broken down, unwanted junk. He sees a homeless man wearing a plastic body cape collecting items for safekeeping. All of a sudden, a security man from above shoots him down. The homeless man had crossed into a restricted area. The employee informs Vaughan that the city tries to keep all homeless or poor people out. Inside the warehouse, a robot lures Vaughan to the outskirt walls of the restricted area. He approaches the dead homeless man when suddenly the security team starts opening fire. As he runs for his life, he hides inside one of the containers to find the same robot waiting for him inside. The robot sets himself alight. Vaughan takes the robotic body back to the lab for further investigation. Inside the hands of the robot, they find a powerful nuclear battery that he was requested to steal. After the team brings him back to life, the robot cannot answer and dies. Back at his family home, he discusses the idea of moving out of the area with his wife. With a polluted city that cannot be touched, he begs his wife to raise their child in a different safe space, if one even exists. But she refuses out of fear. Time passes, and Vaughan decides to go back to where the robot was shot. He finds a hidden golden ball in the crack of the wall. The next day he joins up with Wallace. Wallace tells him that his career has been ruined due to the incident. Vaughan tells Wallace that he needs to find the person responsible for programming the robot. The duo travel to a brothel, where they meet a robot in a blue wig named Cleo. When the lady in charge of the brothel refuses to help them find the engineer, Wallace shoots Cleo in the leg believing that Cleo will go with the mysterious repairman Vaughan calls the clocksmith. Vaughan follows the brothel owner in the night stake to find out where the broken Cleo is going. However, Cleo travels to a mechanical workshop property of Dr. Susan Dupree. He offers a trade of information for the nuclear battery. Dupree informs Vaughan about a terrible possibility, that the robots can alter their second protocol themselves to acquire self-awareness, implying that it contains a non-human intelligence should it overpass the human brain. He gives Dupree his business card and heads back to the office, where he hands an updated voiceover reports to work. After a test where Dupree mixes a biosernal from Wallace's shot robot with Cleo's own biosernal, she sends her findings to Vaughan's office. Even though it was sent to Vaughan, the Rock's chairman intercepts the message. When he finally sees the news, he races down to her offices to see Cleo being more self-aware and trying to steal parts, just like the other robot did. Suddenly her lab's sirens alert her that she has intruders at her door. Dr. Dupree goes to investigate. When Dr. Dupree is killed in front of Vaughan by a Rock Squad group, he and Cleo run from the assassins, ending outside the city, lost in the white desert surrounding the sandbox. En route, both cars crash in a heavy collision. The next day we find Cleo crawling toward her broken off leg. Vaken walks up from the impact to discover that Cleo is fixing herself. When Vaken wakes up from falling unconscious, he finds that a small bunch of robots is carrying him. They inform him that they are taking him away from danger and from the city to find a better place for them all to live. After he refuses to join them, Vaken makes his way through the dry, isolated sands to discover the city's walls. Cleo explains that he is their priority as the sun sets due to their protocol. Meanwhile, back at his family home, his wife Elizabeth goes into labor. Forced to meet Rock's chairman, he reports to Bold about the secret of the two protocols, that the Pilgrim 7000's prototype was created without them. Due to its unlimited intelligence and learning, it overcame its human owners just 8 days later. To escape, all the following Pilgrims were created with the protocols to limit their captors to have them under control. Fearing the extinction of the human race if all the Pilgrims evolved beyond the protocols, Rock's chairman blames Vaken for Dupree's assassination and the alteration of the robots to cover up to the public. Back in the desert, the robots do everything to keep Vaken alive. When searching for food, he finds that Cleo has taken several objects from Dr. Dupree's office, including his pager, a doll's head, and a flare gun. Bold hires Wallace to find Cleo and Vaken after a message from his pager reaches the city. Wallace and his friend begin their search for the group. Time passes, and Vaken, heading towards a radioactive area to meet the clocksmith, suddenly sees the light coming from Wallace's binoculars. He shoots up his flare into the sky, signaling to Wallace that he has seen him. As Wallace races to catch up to them in his truck, he knocks out Vaken with his gun. When each robot steps forward to try and protect Vaken, Wallace shoots 2 of them before Vaken shoots him in the stomach with his flare gun. In fear, Wallace's friend drives off, leaving him stranded in the desert again. The robots trip their deceased companions and continue their march onward. Vaken finds some chocolate in Wallace's pocket and sobs for joy. Vaken begs the robots to take him back to the city as the sun sets. He tried to offer them a trade for the nuclear battery, but Cleo informed him that they would be arriving at their destination the next day. Rock approaches Bold in his family home and tells him that the chairman wants to meet with him back in the city. The police and the chairman interview the runaway friend. The chairman tells Bold about how the robots have learned to carry on without human help. He threatens Bold and commands for the head of the person involved in this situation to be on his desk. In the hospital, Rachel has given birth to a baby girl, but she will be moved to a private room. Bold and the chairman's team drive out into the desert to find Vaken and the robots. Cleo, Vaken, and the accompanying robot finally reach the clocksmith's lair, but to his shock, he finds another robot waiting for him. The robot is the clocksmith who altered his fellow companions. In disbelief, he marches into the warehouse to see the human behind it. Still, after searching around, Vaken only finds hundreds of nuclear batteries and other parts waiting to be installed. The 3 robots place their stolen parts on the table while Vaken heads outside to fix the car. However, the interior of the car's engine has been completely dismantled. The clocksmith and Vaken stand at the edge of the desert ridge and discuss the meaning of life. The clocksmith asks him for the golden ball before Vaken leaves. As night falls, the team looking for the group finds Wallace's dead body in the desert. The Rock tell Bold to bury his body while they carry on searching. Vaken, now defeated by his fate, finds something to eat and drink, but the clocksmith suddenly switches on the lights and plays music. A drunk Vaken teaches Cleo to dance, and the two share an intimate moment. As Bold and the Rock team are sitting around a campfire, Rachel and her newborn approaches them in fear of Vaken's prolonged disappearance. Bold takes out his gun and tells the team that he wants to go home, but to his surprise, the Rock team tells him that he doesn't have a home anymore. He shoots the leader in the arm, and in retaliation, the team shoots him. Back at the warehouse, the 3 robots work through the night to build a new life force through the night. Vaken has a flashback of him as a child, taking his turtle to the beach. The following day the robots constructed the car's engine for Vaken to travel home. He sees that the robots have built a dog-like robot from the parts. On his way back, he finds Bold dying in the sand. He tells Vaken that the Rock team has his wife and newborn on his deathbed. The Rock team finds the clocksmith's warehouse and tries to kill the robots trying to cross over the dried-up canal. The clocksmith jumps from his platform, committing suicide. The team calls out to Vaken, but Cleo informs them that he is gone. In anger, the Rock team shoots the other robot down. The leader of the Rock extracts his battery and takes it for safekeeping after the robot speaks back to him. When the leader shoots Cleo in the arm, he soon realizes that he and his team are not alone. Vaken revs his car in anticipation. He drives full speed ahead towards the Rock team, who angrily shoots at his head-on. He gets hit in the shoulder with a bullet. Rachel takes a knife that she finds strapped to one of the men holding her and stabs his leg. As the car crashes through them, a shootout begins. The leader of the rock shoots Vulcan in the side of his torso, causing him to crawl and hide. The leader soon finds him slumped against a barrel at the canal's edge. As he is about to end Vulcan's life, the small dog-like robot sneaks up behind him and pushes him off the cliff. The leader of the rock falls to his death. Rachel and her newborn daughter head over to the dying Vulcan for them to reunite. Cleo gently touches the baby's hands and walks away. Time passes, and a strapped-up Vulcan helps Cleo and the other miniature robot finally cross the canal. She removes her feminine facial mask and bids farewell to the family. As they travel back through the desert, Rachel informs Vulcan that they are nearly home. When he looks up, he sees the coast. A flashback of Vulcan as a child ends the movie as he jumps in the sea, laughing happily. And the movie ends. If you enjoyed this video, please help us by clicking the like button and subscribing for more amazing content like this. Thanks for watching.